Welcome back to Wired to Run, the ADHD-fueled running podcast where our shoes hit the pavement and the dopamine hits just right.
If you're starting in 2026 thinking, I want big running goals, but also I don't want to burn out by February, this episode is for you. Today, we're walking you through how to plan your 2026 running goals in a way that actually sets you up for success. Choosing races, building challenges that excite you, and creating a plan that works with your brain, not against it. We're talking realistic goal setting, flexible structure, and how to avoid the all or nothing trap that so many runners, especially those of us with ADHD, fall into this time of year.
This isn't about chasing perfection or copying someone else's race calendar. It's about designing a year of running that keeps you motivated, consistent, and proud when you look back at the end of 2026. So whether you're dreaming about your first race, your next big challenge, or just showing up more consistently, consider this your roadmap. Let's get you prepared, grounded, and excited for the year ahead.
Hey, friends, I'm Will, and this is my beautiful wife and co host, Laura.
Happy New Year, Wired crew.
Happy 2026. You know, it's that time of year when we're all setting our big running and walking goals. And our goal by the end of this episode, we want you walking away with clarity and not a giant to do list.
Just a few intentional decisions that really make your training in 2026 feel doable, definitely flexible, and something you're actually very excited about. It's that time of year when you can find the typical ADHD runner roaming the aisles of Target, perusing the new year planners and buying colorful sticky notes. Or like some people in our family, don't worry, I'll remember it. Spoiler, we won't.
Well, at the core of it, why does creating a new running plan for the new year feel extra hard with ADHD?
I think it could be a lot of things for different people. Speaking from my own experience, I typically overcommit to races and sign up and forget I signed up for them in the first place, or kind of like the all or nothing thinking pattern. If I'm not doing it perfectly or if I can't run a PR, then why try? But I think we could all have the potential to fall into that sort of like thinking pit.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. I know for me, difficulty with long timelines,
Hmm.
like knowing I have the whole year until my big race,
Right.
and then my motivation will spike and then dip. Sometimes I feel like throwing my training plan out the window because the race is so far away.
Hmm.
I typically start so full of motivation. I have that strict training schedule, but then life always gets in the way mid-year. And then and then I try to cram all my training in 1 month before the race and then decide, yeah, it's not worth busting my knees again and dropping out of the race. And there's nothing more defeating for me as a runner than doing that.
I'd like to reframe kind of like all of the above. Planning doesn't have to really mean like rigid structure. The goal is support, not control. So, I kind of just want to reiterate, your brain isn't broken. Traditional like goal setting, it just wasn't designed for it sometimes. Not for everybody, but like for some, traditional goal setting isn't your brain isn't designed for it. Like for me, I know I could say it's not. We just need to do things a bit differently to be successful. So the first step we take when creating a running plan for the new year is to define our why before the mileage. So I think the first really big thing that you should be doing is creating anchor goals. And I know you and I talk about this a lot. We talk about this when goal setting in anything in our lives, whether, it's our career or things that we want to accomplish. We talk about anchor goals. And creating anchor goals emotionally before getting logistical, is really important. So like, in other words, what's driving you deep down to want to achieve these running goals? Is it, community, a sense of community, just pure joy, your mental health, wanting to take on a big, like scary new challenge, wanting to improve overall health, be around for your family longer, taking part in a hobby that your significant other partner likes to do. That is kind of important because you want to grow your relationship or friendship with a new friend, maybe, or dabble in something that they are interested in. Running maybe something that they're into, and you want to kind of connect with them Or like for me, you're overcoming something. Like with me, I, decided to do my first marathon because I overcame cancer. So those are all things that you kind of, there's a million reasons why. So the first step really is defining that why. So if you don't drop your anchor of your why, that ship of motivation throughout the year will drift out to the sea of other responsibilities, essentially.
Wow, that's really good. I really like that. And I agree, goals that are tied to identity definitely last longer than goals that are tied to a pace or a metric.
Hmm.
I think writing these anchors down somewhere, whether it's your phone, a journal,
Hmm.
those multicolor sticky notes you hide in the Target stationery aisle, and put them on your bathroom mirror or your computer monitor at work.
Hmm.
Um, that way, you're constantly reminded of why you started this in the first place.
Yeah. And, you know, um, I like to just say, not everybody wants to write things down.
Mhm.
It kind of sometimes feels overwhelming to some folks. Just record a voice memo. That's actually my favorite way of defining and solidifying my anchors, my whys. I hear the emotion in my voice at the time I record it sometimes, and it reminds me of my why. Sometimes it's almost like tangible when I listen to it back. It takes me back to that moment when I recorded it, and lights that fire in me to get back on track. So if it's something I really, really wanted at the moment, and 6 months down the road, it may not be something that's top of mind anymore. And when I listen to that voice memo, I hear kind of like the not desperation, but kind of like, oh, I really wanted that goal. And it takes me back to that moment of like, oh yeah, that was really important to me. Why did I let that slip away? So voice memos for me, they're really a great tool, instead of writing it down, I find
Yeah.
personally.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. I love that. Um, yeah, I really love that, especially when you said like the emotion that you hear.
Hmm.
You know, I think I may start that. As you know, I tend to forget to write things down many times. Okay. Right. Well, moving on. Um,
No comment.
so next, you really want to set the big three for 2026 or whatever year you're listening to this. You want a main goal, you want a supporting goal, and you want a joy goal. The main goal, it could really be a particular race that you want to do, a distance, a time goal. It's pretty straightforward. The second would be a supporting goal, and this could have something to do with strength, speed, mental health, building a community.
Mm.
These are general examples, but some other examples for folks just starting out on a walking or a running plan could simply be signing up for a gym or a community center membership and then becoming familiar with a treadmill. It's just something to help support that overall goal.
Mm.
Even something like going down to your local running store and getting fitted for proper walking and running shoes,
Hmm.
to avoid running injuries. Um, that was something I had no clue about until you started running. And then, kind of like what we
Yeah.
were saying earlier, I got involved in running because that was something that you were doing.
Hmm.
But another idea is buying books about starting to run if you're a first time runner.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. One of the things I did when I first started running was researching books about starting to run. And I didn't want a book with all like the fancy runner jargon that would go totally over my head. So I needed someone to kind of give it to me straight in simple terms. I think it was John the Penguin Bingham,
Yeah.
The Courage to Start. That was like a defining moment for me when I read that book. If you haven't, if you're a runner, whether you have ADHD or not, it doesn't matter. If you haven't read that and you're starting out to run, even if you're a seasoned runner, it's such a great book. John Bingham, they call him John the Penguin Bingham. His book is fantastic, The Courage to Start, and it's very inspiring. And it's still one of my all-time favorite running books. I've bought several copies and gifted it to friends. One of the things that I loved about the book is he's very clear. Running is for everyone, focusing on personal milestones. He weaves his own personal story of being a sedentary person into a marathoner, and shared his goal setting techniques, many which I still use today, believe it or not. It's been 16 years, I think, since I read the book, maybe a little bit more. But, I love his candor and his honesty. And I saw so much of myself in him being, at the time, a little bit more of a sedentary person wanting to change, but, not knowing how. I was like kind of like a newer mom. I had a toddler at home and full-time job and long commute. And, I didn't know how to start. So he unfurled a really wonderful roadmap of where to start. And that was probably my number one support goal under my big goal when I started running. My big goal, obviously, as you know, was wanting to run my first half marathon within a year. Um, Another one, Olympian Jeff Galloway wrote several books that helped me when I first started out running. I think the first one that I had read was Running Getting Started, I think. And then the Run, Walk, Run method. You actually introduced me to that one. Those books were very instrumental in me getting out there, out the door. It was very much less intimidating for me. Um, Another kind of tying into Jeff Galloway, another support goal might be taking the step of hiring a coach. I'm a Galloway customized training program member. That has been the number one support goal for reaching my overall goal of running my first marathon last year and then Dopey coming up this week. My coach, Chris Twiggs, is phenomenal.
Mhm.
The education I've gotten through customized Coach Twiggs reconfigures your schedule based on your needs, working around injuries, illness, crazy schedules, setbacks, pretty much you name it. But I would not be able to accomplish the things that I've done if it weren't for Galloway customized training program. So that's really, these are all support goals, things that you want to do to get to those big giant main goals.
Absolutely. What's really cool about the books is that even after you've been running for a while, it's always good to go back
Hmm.
and reread them. And then you've definitely got more than your money's worth with the coaching plan.
Yeah.
Having a coach was big for you.
Oh, yeah. And I always look forward to our Tuesday group coaching calls. I mean, they're group calls, but I've learned so much from my fellow members. They're wonderful folks. And you meet people who are just like couch to 5K and people who are ultra runners running 100 plus milers, 250 milers. It's incredible. You have something, a piece that you could take away from each person. So that for me was like a game changer. So.
Which is actually kind of funny because it goes right into the third goal,
Mhm.
which would be a joy goal. And that's just something for fun. It could be costumes, which I know you're really into. It
Mhm.
could be new routes. It could be a travel race. For that joy goal, it really should be something that you really enjoy or want to try for fun. I know for myself, someday I would love to go down to the Florida Keys and do the Florida Keys
Mhm.
Marathon. But for now, my joy goal is to explore some new race routes along the coastline.
Oh, yeah. That definitely I know that's, like, one you've definitely hit home many occasions.
Yes, I love the salt air. So now that you've selected your main goal, you picked your race. The next step is evaluating why you want to do that race. So you definitely want to choose races for the right reasons
Mhm.
and without overloading your calendar, which is
Yeah,
tough.
yeah.
Um, and how this helps, it helps to prevent burnout, overwhelm, um, avoids impulse signups at 2 a.m. Mhm.
Yes, guilty as charged.
Yeah, but I find myself doing that too sometimes. Um, but you'll definitely want to ask yourself these questions. So, do I love the race or just the idea of saying that I ran it? Do I want
That's
to do the Goofy Challenge or the Kona Ironman to gloat about it? Or do I want to do it because I want to challenge my mind, my body to accomplish, some feat? Um, and do I want to put in the work required to achieve that goal? That's huge.
yeah.
Another is, does the race fit my life this year? So if you're planning to expand your family, you've got work commitments, you're traveling abroad for vacation, you name it, look ahead to what might be on the horizon for you and your family when planning and signing up for a big race. And just because that race isn't for you this year doesn't mean that it won't be for you next year or
That's good.
sometime in the future.
Yeah.
This is another big one. Am I chasing a medal or a personal record? Use races as motivation, not pressure. Sometimes we see that nice shiny medal where it's like, oh my gosh, I was so close to breaking whatever time. I've got to do another race to try to break that time, but then all the joy,
Yeah.
um, just
I'd like to go back to that one where you said it may not be the right time. That's really good. So whatever you have on the horizon coming up, whether it's work commitments, family, wanting to expand your family, um, it may not be the year for it. That is really, really key because I know for folks with ADHD, myself included, friends that have ADHD, we're pretty impulsive. We feel like, okay, we got to do it now, or I'm never going to be able to do it. You feel like that kind of like that instantaneous, like I've got to sign up for it now. I've got to. What if it's not there next year? What if the race they stop doing the race? You think all of those thoughts, and if you've got to have that dopamine hit of signing up now. So I love that you mentioned that hey, it may not be right for you right now, but there might be a time in the future where you could sign up for that. So I'm glad you pointed that out.
no, absolutely. Another one, I think we kind of touched upon this too. You see a promo code arriving in your inbox with 30% off the upcoming race, um, or at some of the expos for some of the bigger
Oh yeah,
races, they'll be handing out different things, or maybe you can sign up for a race that's like 2 weeks in the future, and it's like signed up now. Uh,
50% off
Absolutely.
registration.
So it's like 2 a.m. You're tired. You're not thinking clearly. And, the impulse to sign up is right there. All you have to do is just press the
How can
button.
I beat that deal? I got a deal,
Exactly.
honey.
So the way we counter this, because we've done that before, is that we put in the pause rule.
Hmm.
So basically, when we see a race and we're thinking about signing up for it, we always give ourselves 24, 48 hours before registering. This can also be very important too, because something else that races do, especially if it's your first race or you're thinking about signing up for one, the race gets more and more expensive as it gets closer and closer to race dates. So you might be like, if I sign up now, I save $20. If I
Hmm.
sign up in a week from now, it's going to be $20 more,
Hmm.
but that's okay.
Hmm.
I'd rather pause and make sure it's the right fit
Yeah.
and spend an extra $20 than to sign up for a race that maybe I'm not going to be prepared for.
Yep. Hurt yourself or maybe not do and you waste like $150 on a race that you never show
Exactly.
up for,
Yeah.
did not start.
Yeah. Because most of them, they're non-refundable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, with whatever race you're looking at doing, always check it against your big goal. Make sure that it lines up with the rest of your plan. And are you taking on more races than you need to? By doing this, you're going to be doing a pulse check on your main goal to ensure it's the right goal and the right race for you.
That's good. I like that. So I think those are all very, very valid points. That pause rule was hard for me in the beginning. I think for sure I I was kind of like, oh my gosh, this is such a cool race and check this out. And we could do a virtual and look at this, really awesome medal. And it's like half the price to do the virtual and you get this really cool shirt and this medal. You kind of like justify it in your head. And I love that you and I kind of keep each other in check. And you've run things past me and gone
Mhm.
like, I really want to do this, but I don't really know if it's worth the money. We don't really need to spend that kind of money on that. We have other stuff that we have going on that we could probably invest in. We got a vacation coming up, but I really like this
But how many
race.
times do you do a half marathon in June?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. But really, I mean, you and I we do a very good job of keeping each other in check to kind of go, okay,
Yes.
let's be real. Let's be real. Like, do we really need to do this right now? And then I love though, if there's something that's really important to us, there's a race that's we've been talking about for a while. We do support each other and go, yeah, go sign up for that race. It's really important to you. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So
Looking at you, Dopey.
yeah. That was never on my horizon until maybe last year. So, um, but it's important to put in place planning systems that actually work for ADHD brains. So, the purpose of these systems is to offer realistic tools, not perfectionism. So, I want to I hope that's coming across is that all of these things are just tools to help. They're not check the boxes that you have to do these things. They're just helpful things because, as we mentioned in last week's episode, there's a lot of challenges that come along with ADHD, but it doesn't have to be that way. We're here to help you come up with options and tools and ideas to help offset that and reframe so that you can have a successful race season. You can, if you're not in a race season, you're just wanting to get out the door, how we can help and give you confidence to put one foot in front of the other. So,
Mhm.
so yeah, it's not about perfectionism. It's about having realistic tools. One thing that I never really thought about until I started marathon training was breaking your training plan into training blocks.
That's good.
So, visual timelines. I know we do this for our kids. We provide timelines and, especially when our kids are little, our little one, we do, visual calendars, visual, timers, things like that. As a runner, I really appreciate that, having visual timelines and wall calendars. I bought a huge 3-month whiteboard calendar, pinned it to our wall, our bedroom wall. It's under our medal displays. I filled it out with my 3 months training plan. I have a year training plan or a 6-month training plan, but it's only 3 months worth. And it's less overwhelming seeing my year-long training plan in 3-month chunks. And it's less scary. And I can kind of make peace with those longer, scarier miles and simulations the more I look at that calendar every morning. I get up and I see, oh, I've got a 5 and a 10 and a 15 coming up back-to-back days. It scares me at first, but after seeing it on our wall for a few weeks, I'm like, it's not that bad. I can handle it. And I also add, important family appointments and functions in other dry erase marker colors so that I know when I have to get with Coach Twigs and go, hey, I've got this concert for my kiddo, or we've got dental appointments and this, that, and the other thing, and I'm not going to be able to get my Tuesday, Thursday run, and what can I do instead? Or, my long run, we've got to push it out, or we've got to swap weeks because I got a 5K that I'm doing with my kids, a fun run or something like that. So, I love having a 3-month block chunked out calendar instead of looking at like all the months ahead and getting overwhelmed. That visual timeline really makes it doable, and it kind of puts your training into perspective,
Yeah.
and it keeps you accountable.
Mhm.
So you actually stick to the plan. So countdown reminders work. Um, why this race? I call it quote unquote, why this race notes saved on your phone. Like I put that, or memos work as well. But like I have a tab in my phone, my notes, where why this race is important to me. Why am I doing this? Because there's going to be a time
Absolutely.
in Dopey training multiple times where I'm like, why the heck am I doing this?
Yep.
This is like nuts. This is crazy. And you need sometimes those reminders to keep your sanity.
100%.
And the planning system. It's a planning system. Why you're doing what you're doing. It's not your, original why. There's like little mini whys, in between. So just a few
No,
few tips.
I love that. I love the I love the wall calendar because yes, you can see what you need to see.
Hmm.
You don't need to see the entire plan because,
Hmm.
like you said, it could freak you out.
Hmm.
But you see what you need to see. And then I love the why this race because one thing that's really cool about that is that you can even make it like your lock screen on your phone. So it's
Yeah,
always there.
that's good.
But those are great. I love the externalizing memory like this,
Hmm.
because it equals success, not weakness.
Oh, that's good.
Um,
I like
but
that.
you also need to build in flexibility and grace. You need to remember that missing a week doesn't erase your entire year of
Yeah.
training and hard work. Um, another helpful approach is minimum viable training. It keeps you moving during low motivation weeks or when life just takes over and you just can't get all your training in. That happens to everyone.
Hmm.
Um, and knowing that doing a bare minimum run, even if it's 10 minutes or whatever it is that you can fit in, that bare minimum run is better than no run at all.
Mm,
And you just got to you got to give yourself permission um, to know that things are going to come up.
right.
Take advantage of the Jeff Galloway run, walk, run method. It's much less taxing on your body. It's been shown to improve speed.
It has.
Um,
Hmm.
if you have to shorten your long run, um, there's just some days where I go out there to run and I know I'm going to do 10 miles. And then I get 2 miles in and it starts to rain
Yep.
or something happens and I get a phone call and it's like, okay, I'm not doing 10 miles. Life is life.
Yep.
Um, and then sometimes you just want to get out there and do a mental health run.
Yeah.
Because again, running's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just want to go out there and just run.
Yeah.
And, maybe you've got a really nice path that you like to take. Maybe you have a trail. Maybe it's just, you know what? I really want that Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
You and your Duncan.
I had to put that in, or Starbucks, or whatever your favorite cup of Joe is. And it's like I'm just gonna run there. I'm gonna earn my coffee.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so you just have to reframe.
Or
Consistency.
or rage run.
Yeah, or rage run.
Things aren't going
Sometimes
your way.
sometimes you have that day at work, and it's just
Mhm.
like I just have to just disconnect from everything.
Leave it all
And
out in the trail.
when you're running, it's so much. It's very easy to disconnect.
Mhm.
Whether you run in silence, whether you have, your headphones on and you're listening to music. When you're running, you really can't think of much more than running.
Sometimes, yeah.
And then once you start running, your your brain just gets clear,
Yeah.
and you can think of things. But really, the big reframe in all of this is that consistency is greater than perfection,
Mm,
because we'll never be perfect, but we can all be
I
consistent.
like that, yeah. Even if it's little minor consistencies, it builds confidence. So, I love that. I like to build in dopamine on purpose. So, how this works, how this benefits you is it sustains your motivation. So, like an example would be my running bestie and I love to do themed training weeks. So running clubs like to do this, or you're like running friends. We do like an EDM week. As y'all know, if you listen to the since day one, I love EDM, like electronic dance music. If you don't know what EDM is, but I love dance music, and so we did a themed run where we did the sparkles and the neon and the crazy the hair and stuff. And we went running and we did our long run and we listened to EDM. And it was so much fun. And the run went so much better. We got that dopamine hit. It was amazing. So we could do sports team week,
Mhm.
etc. A lot, like I said, a lot of running clubs do those themed weeks. Orange Theory always did theme weeks. So it makes it just interesting. Keeps that dopamine going. New playlists or victory songs. Revamp that playlist. Ask
Yeah.
friends on social media to help you build a new playlist. Have them send you their favorite songs or create a surprise playlist for you so you have no idea what song will play until you get on the road.
That's
So
good. I like that.
I think it's really cool, especially if you guys are into the same genres. I saw somewhere on social media a guy say, create a playlist of all the worst songs to run to, and it was hilarious. So maybe do something like that. Um,
Swap playlists with your with your significant other.
no, no, we have polar opposite interests in music, so I don't think that would apply. You wouldn't like my music. I wouldn't like this. Um, Training rewards that aren't food or gear. So like something like for getting your nails done, pedicure, going out for coffee with a friend, spending the day fishing with a buddy, something that's like outside of that, just going that extra like little special thing outside of your normal routine. Accountability buddies and group texts. We do that on
Yeah.
our friendship group, and Holler Hype is an app that several groups that I'm a part of. That's a really, really fun thing, and I'm happy to share that in future episodes. But it's a great app where you join a group and people can hype you up. So those are like quick. You're building in dopamine on purpose on those runs. So we want to give you a reset plan before you need it too. Like that's a really big one. You and I were talking about that the other day. You have mentioned you struggle with this
Hmm.
sometimes,
Yeah.
like mid training season where you just hit that dip and it's like really I'm really struggling. Um there will inevitably be a slump. It happens to all of us. There's no shame in it. Motivation and dopamine dip, it's normal. We want to help you create a when I'm over it plan, quote unquote. Um, this prevents quitting during the inevitable slumps. So, there's a thing that's kind of like a phone a friend, like who to text list. Have at least 1 to 2 people, maybe 3 you can count on one hand, count on those people to kind of pull you up by your shoelaces and put you back on track mentally when you're struggling. They'll remind you who you are and why you started this, training, or why you started running or run walking or walking. When to get, guilt-free rest, get that massage, take that rest day, go visit a friend. That's all part of your reset plan, but make sure you take advantage of it before you need it. Like, have that planned
Yeah.
out. Make a list of the things that you know that you'll need when you hit that slump. So you're not kind of like floundering and go, "Ugh, I don't want to do this anymore." You have that in your back pocket to
Oh,
pull
yeah.
out. Normalize mid-cycle fatigue is expected. If you're prepared for that mid-cycle fatigue, the more likely you'll get over the hump when it arrives. So, those slogging miles and simulations when you're way into the training season but don't quite have the finish line of training in sight. So normalizing it, knowing that it's okay, and you don't beat yourself up about it.
Yeah.
But here's your reframe. You don't need more discipline, you need better support. So whether it's a support system outside of yourself, a support system within, just understand that it's not necessarily about discipline. You just need a better support, better support system.
Yep. No, absolutely. And because the time between signing up for a race and actually doing the race
Mm.
is usually quite long.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very normal to run into those weeks, those days where you're like, why am I doing this? And so definitely having those friends that you can text or that you can call,
Mm-hmm.
that are also runners and
Mm.
understand the reason why we do these
Yep.
things. They can encourage you. And then also, I think we kind of forget that a rest day
Mm-hmm.
is still a training day
Yep.
because your body is recovering and building strength
Mm-hmm.
during those rest days.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, you mentioned rest day in one of the previous episodes, and you mentioned Chandler. I was wrong. I said Ross. It's not Ross. Just for the record, you were right. I was wrong.
Nagi.
No, when Chandler was looking out the window when it was raining, and those memes when you see somebody running and it's your rest day and it's raining out, so you're like sad. Yeah, that happens to all of us. But take those rest days. Your body, your mind need it.
Absolutely. And I think it's really important that we also mention normalizing changing goals mid-year. Um, it helps by removing guilt and that all or nothing thinking that
Mm,
that we're all prone to. Keep in mind that adjusting your goal is not quitting.
mm,
Adjusting goals does not equal quitting.
mm-hmm.
Once again, if you adjust your goal, it doesn't mean that you're quitting.
Yeah.
Um, it just means that you're making a change.
Yeah.
Some examples would be swapping races. I've done this before, downgrading distances. Some races will allow you to sign up for the marathon. And then as you get closer, if you're just not feeling it, you can either downgrade your registration or I think one of the races, once you got to the halfway point, once you got to 13.1, if you went one direction, you continued on the marathon course. If
Mm-hmm.
you went a different direction, you would just finish on the half marathon course. You'd still get the medal, you'd still be timed. So there's nothing wrong with that. Um, and then shifting from performance to participation.
Oh, I love
So,
that.
and that can even happen during your run
Mm-hmm.
where you could just be like, okay, cool. I had this particular goal in mind. I had this time in my mind. And I think most runners do. You have that time in your mind, but for whatever reason, you're not going to make that time goal. That's okay. You know,
You're gonna PR and fun.
absolutely. I just think of it as you're still doing the distance.
Mm-hmm.
To me, again, running should be fun. So definitely you need to reframe
Yeah.
flexibility as a skill and not a failure.
Mm-hmm.
And then remember, you don't have to plan perfectly. You don't have to know everything today.
Mm-hmm.
Showing up imperfectly, that still counts.
Yeah.
And running in 2026 gets to support your life, not consume it.
Mm.
And, we'd love to hear about some of your 2026 running or walking goals and what strategies have helped you when setting up your New Year training plan.
Yeah, please do. I'd love to hear what's on the horizon for you. So definitely reach out to us and email us at laceup@wiredtorun.com. Awesome. Thank you. Those are great.
Laura, I know your Dopey challenge is coming up next week, and there were some nerves around it, as expected. Because let's face it, it's a 5K, a 10K, half marathon, and a full marathon back to back days. And the temperature, I think, are expected to be near 80 degrees. How are you feeling about that?
Um, I'm getting a little anxious about it. I'm not gonna lie. I put the work in, the training in. I'm as prepared as I can be.
Mhm.
I'm excited for it, but the temperatures definitely have me a little bit shaky.
Yeah.
But I can only go out there and do the best that I can. I would definitely not put myself at risk by getting heat stroke or exhaustion. So if, I'm not feeling up for it, and having any challenges, I would definitely pull myself from the course and
Yeah.
give it a shot next year. There's no shame in that. And really it's the victory lap. The Dopey challenge, that the race weekend is the victory lap. I've already done the Dopey challenge and all the training.
Yeah.
So I don't really have anything to prove to myself. Yeah, it's great to have, run across the finish lines and get your medals and celebrate and stuff like that. But could like we talked about, if it doesn't work out this year, it could always be next year.
Exactly.
Take some time to make peace with that. I won't lie. But if that's the plan and it's hot, it is what it is. But I'm believing that I'm gonna do it, and it's gonna be great weather, and the training's gonna kick in, and I'm gonna be celebrating Dopey next week. So we'll see.
Absolutely.
We'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
I think you're going to do much better than you think you are. I've I've seen you put in the miles. I've been on some of those miles. I will say for the record, and I know this is being recorded, that she is much tougher than I will ever be.
No.
Just seeing what she's done this past year, putting the miles in, going out there, running, no matter like what the temperature is, starting off some days like on the treadmill,
Oh,
and then
the treadmill.
yeah, the treadmill. And then having to do that, and then the sun finally comes up to the point where you can start running like on the road and everything, and you meet up with your friend, and you
Hmm.
guys do some miles, and I'll come up and meet up with you, and we'll trade off. I mean, yeah, you
Oh.
a little teary eye right now.
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
very proud
Thank
of
you.
you.
Oh my gosh. I really appreciate your support. It really has meant the world to me. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate the example that you're giving me and
You're
our
making me
kids.
cry. Oh gosh.
I always tell people that if you set a goal, you achieve it. It could be something crazy to everybody else, but you will find a way. And so I'm very thankful that I married you
Oh,
because
thanks.
you're definitely an inspiration
You're
even
so sweet. Thank you.
many years down the road.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you. Back at you. You inspire me. I wouldn't be doing a marathon for the first time if it wasn't for you. So, like I said, you inspire
but
me.
I wouldn't have done a marathon had you not done the first
No,
half
I
marathon. So
know.
comes right back around.
So,
But I know that you've recently shared it was very powerful and very deeply personal post about your journey to the Dopey challenge. And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but it was again very inspiring to hear. Um, if you're open to it, I think our listeners would really connect with hearing that story.
okay. Oh, yeah, put me on the spot because I did not think you were going to ask me that. You were saying that you were going to ask me a question at the end of this. I did not know you were going to ask about that. I thought you were going to ask, like, what am I going to do next year for my race goals?
So
Because we were
what's
talking
going to
about
be
race
your
goals.
outfit?
What's my costume? No. Okay. Well, I did post to my personal social media. I wrote something up. Talking about, oh gosh, I'm gonna get emotional and I don't want to do that. Um, what this training season has meant to me, um, and what I discovered about myself, because you always discover something about yourself, whether it's good or bad or whatever. You just kind of discover who you are and peel back the layers of yourself as you um, take on new challenges and kind of bring yourself to the brink. with every run and every long run and every simulation. So, um, that was, I guess, what this was about. So, it's called January 2025 to January 2026, the year I woke up. Um, a year ago, I crossed the finish line I never truly believed would be mine. My first official marathon. I remember standing there thinking, how did I get here? Not just to the race, but to the belief that I even belonged on the course. For so long, a marathon was something other people did. Stronger and faster, braver people. But that day proved something I'd never let myself fully believe before. I could do these insanely hard things. That marathon didn't just change my mind, it woke me up. It woke me up to what discipline looks like when you show up even when motivation is gone. It woke me up to the power of choosing myself daily. Woke me up to the realization that limits I thought were permanent were actually just stories I'd been telling myself. It gave me proof that limits I once accepted were never real. And throughout 2025, I put in the work, the quiet miles, the early mornings, running in the dark, the uncomfortable growth, weight loss that came not from punishment, but from purpose. Each run built more than endurance. It built trust. Trust in what my body was made to do, a mind learning to trust itself fully, trust in the version of me that refuses to quit. And there was a song that kept finding me out on the trail on every long run during the season. It's called Waking Up by Washed Out. It became my victory song, not because of one lyric, but because of how it feels, that moment when the fog lifts, when you realize you're stepping into something bigger, lighter, freer. When you're finally waking up to the person you've always been, but just never knew it. A few times I caught myself 19, 22, 24 miles deep into a long training run, and I pull myself off the trail into the grass and sob listening to the song, reminding myself of who I am, to shut the doubt up. Just as the trail that changed me last year will always hold a special place in my heart, so will the song. And now it's January 2026. 1 year ago, I was celebrating the impossible. Today, I'm standing just days away from Dopey Challenge, something I never thought. Sorry. Never would have even considered before that first marathon finish line. Sorry. This year between version of me is different. Not fearless, but brave. Not perfect, but committed. Not waiting to be ready, but moving forward anyway. I'm waking up to the fact that I'm about to soar. Waking up to the truth that believing in myself was the hardest race of all and the most important one I'd ever run. No matter what happens next, whether I finish Dopey in the heat wave that's expected to hit Florida next weekend or not, it doesn't matter because the training was the Dopey Challenge, not the upcoming victory lap of the race weekend. It doesn't matter because this year built something in me that no finish line can take away. And I'm just getting started.
Wow. No, I appreciate you sharing that with everyone. I know that's it's not easy to be that open, but I know when you shared that with me the other night, I was just like, wow, there's really no words. I just got really choked up, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I will stand on the mountaintop and say it that
Aw,
I am so inspired and
thank you.
in awe of you.
Thanks.
You've come so far, and it's been such a privilege to run by your side
Thank
and
you.
witness your transformation. It's
Oh gosh.
and you're just getting started.
Yeah. I did the marathon to basically, say cancer can't have me, and I signed up for Dopey. I'm gonna cross the finish line of Dopey to show cancer it can never have me. So that's really where it stemmed from. But I wanna Thank you so much, honey, because I couldn't be more blessed to have such a supportive and encouraging husband and family. You've been by my side through the good, the bad, and the oh my gosh, I want to quit so badly. Those moments. But I'm grateful beyond belief, for your encouragement. So I just want to thank you so much, because you've made a lot of sacrifices to allow me to get on that road to run, and our family has too, and all those hours out on the road. So, and it's been tough. I've had some really rough moments, where I had a lot of doubts, and you've really spoken life into me. So I really appreciate it. So,
Well, you're very welcome, and I love you so
oh,
much.
thank you. I love you.
So,
We're just very mushy people.
yeah,
I'm
so it's
so
like,
sorry.
okay, so
We're
how,
like, he's like,
so how do we, so how,
switch podcast off because they're all mush.
it's like, okay, so how do we end this? It's like, we went in a very,
Yeah.
very,
Mushy direction.
yeah, but very inspiring direction.
Thanks.
But we really do hope that you found this episode helpful and helpful with setting those new training goals and making that new training plan for the year ahead and helping to make it a little less overwhelming. We'd invite all of you to share some of your 2026 running or walking goals and let us know if any of these strategies or tools helped you along your journey. And, and as mentioned, you have any strategies if you have any strategies that have helped you,
Yeah.
we'd love to share those strategies on air. And also, we want to hear about your transformations.
Yeah.
Because again, I think running is such a great metaphor because there's a start line and there's a finishing line.
Mm-hmm.
And the person that starts the race, no matter what the distance, is a different person than who finishes the race.
Yes, amen to that.
So,
yeah,
we all go through
so
different
true.
transformations.
So true. We are, definitely.
So definitely we want to hear your stories. So, and what is the email?
Lace up at wiredtorun.com.
So let's lace up, lock in, and let's go the distance. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.